Hello, all, and welcome to another episode of the Endless Spiral podcast. You're all very welcome. On this episode, I am joined by the one and only Sir Stevo Timothy. Of course, you might know Stevo from his character Farmer Michael, where on YouTube his videos have been viewed over 90 million times. I still can't get my head over that's absolutely madness. At the moment, Stevo is promoting his upcoming charity boxing match with Olympian Paddy Barnes, and of course, all proceeds are going to the Irish Wheelchair Association. So we'll have a chat about that, and of course, we'll have a chat to Steve about his mental health struggles, which he's been very open about in the past. So, Sir Stevo, is that an
Hello.
honorary knighthood? Is it?
Huh?
Is that an honorary knighthood you have?
Oh, it is, yeah. Self-imposed title. No, I noticed that people were coming to my profile instead of my page before. So I just put it to Sir Stevo Timothy instead of Stevo Timothy so people can get confused. But then I ended up having to change my name to Stephen Goggins anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. So which one are we
Some of
using at the
the
moment? Is it Timothy or Goggins?
Timothy, my actual surname.
It's
Some of the newspapers have become like Stevo Timothy, real name Stephen Goggins, and I'm like, no, it's not. Stop. Sorry. Let them all keep guessing. It's all part of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, Steve, I was thinking maybe if we take a little trip back in memory lane, if you're okay with that. And of course, I was reading up, and I mean, you've been suffering from anxiety from a young age, really, haven't you?
Yeah, very early teenage years, I think, more or less.
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
kind of felt, I always kind of felt different. I didn't really have a name for it, and I didn't really know what it was. I just knew this was me, and other people, I presumed, didn't feel like that.
yeah, yeah.
So I always looked at other people and thought, like, yeah, they look normal. You know what I mean? And I felt I wasn't normal and didn't look normal.
Yeah. And I think you were saying it wasn't necessarily depression; it was really just anxiety. And I mean, did it kind of get worse over years, or I mean, are you able to look back now and you can kind of, you can pick out, things from your past? That's anxiety. That's anxiety. That's anxiety.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of like. I suppose it relents for a while, but then it kind of, if something happens major in your life, it can come back again. So
Yeah,
it's always there under the surface, just waiting for a crack to appear. And once the crack appears, it's out.
yeah,
And once it's out of the bag and you have a big attack or you have a very bad week, then it's in your conscience again, consciousness, and you're thinking about it.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
it's hard to relent then on you.
yeah. And you have kind of general anxiety disorder, haven't you?
Yeah, and panic disorder.
Oh, and panic disorder. Yeah. So, what are your
Yeah.
triggers? Are your triggers nearly everything?
Uh, it's hard to know. That's the thing. Like when I was talking with my counselor before, they were like, if you were just afraid of, I was saying to her, if I was just afraid of large crowds or something specific, I'd just hide from that. But I can be on front of a big crowd ready to do a gig, or I can be at home in the middle of the night and wake up with it. Or
Yeah,
just watch the telly and be,
yeah.
I just say to Roxy, like, I feel really panicky. And she'd go,
Mm.
why? And I'd be like, I don't know. I wish I was able to explain that to her that, oh, it's over this or it's over that. But sometimes, like, possibly something I'm thinking about, but I'm not conscious of it. But it just can be anything, really.
Yeah. Do you
It's hard to-
find? Yeah, go on.
It makes it harder to deal with them because you can't like put a source on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, what would be your escapisms, if I can say the word? Would it be the comedy, or like your character, or would it be making videos, or is it a bit of everything?
It can be a bit of making videos, a bit of, I suppose, when you have a good successful video or good reach or good viewing figures, or it can be just something as simple as, getting a nice takeaway and watching a few movies or some series and just try not to be thinking about it, to get it out of your mind, really.
Yeah,
And go for drives as well, try and clear the head.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as seen as this podcast is mental health, but it's also a sporting podcast, we can't not talk about your bike ride you did last year, which you raised, was it 63,000
Yeah,
euro?
63 grand. Yeah, so that was I suppose that gave the birth to this charity event this time around.
Yeah.
So it's only a year since, no, it is a year. It's just gone past a year since I've done that. So that
Yeah.
was like It was just, I suppose, it wasn't even the amount we raised. It was just, I suppose, the amount of support we had from, like, huge names like, Freddie Flintoff and Don French and Gary Lineker, and the amount of people that retweeted it and the amount of people that donated. And of course, Seamus Coleman, who brought it up to 60 grand, appropriately enough. If you're a football fan, you know so that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He dropped me a WhatsApp and he just goes, "Hey Steve, I just brought you up to the 60 grand there." And I was like, "You fucking..." But even to say that, like, it sounds so egotistical, but just thinking back and saying that, when I say that loud, the Ireland and Everton captain just threw me a WhatsApp. That I have that contact. It's just, it's a brilliant thing. And it's, I suppose, and it's all from doing the videos, really. Like, I remember when I first started, and, I was getting messages to my page from, like, former Olympians and things, and famous people in Ireland, and it was just like, oh my God, and I'd be going straight into my outlet. Paul McGrath just contacted me. You know what I mean? Like, because that to me was huge. Paul McGrath, don't mind Tyson Fury doing a video, or Conor McGregor or whatever. Like, Paul McGrath, that's for me, like, growing up as a baby of 1981. That, you know what I mean? That Paul McGrath, that was everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you have his number, send it out to me. I want a message off him as well.
Give him a buzz.
Give him a buzz. Yeah. My God. And, like, what kind of spurred you to do that? Yeah. What spurred you to do the bike ride?
Mostly the COVID, and to be putting my mind into something. Because touring all stopped, everything was postponed. So it was like, what can I do? And the IWA contacted me first and said, would you share some fundraiser that we're doing, or some kind of yoke that we're doing to raise money? And I said, like, I'll do one better. I'll come up with a charity thing. I was going to do like 2 kilometers on an exercise bike or something like that. I was just thinking of doing something, and then I was like, no, I'll do 5 kilometers. And then I was like, no, I'll do it on a bicycle, an actual bicycle. And I'll do it around a running track. So, yeah. And then, see, I put myself in these positions, and then I look down. I'm actually looking at it now, and I can see the running track. And I was like, right. So, yeah, but it'd be only 6 laps around that. Oh, my God, that's going to kill me. Then I found out that that's only a certain meter track. So it'd be 12 and a half laps of it.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, oh, God almighty. Even looking at it and thinking back of doing 1 lap on that is daunting enough. But when I realized that was 12 and a half, and, I was kind of like, I was on to my trainer then, and I was like, Dara, get up, get on your bike. We're going to have to start training for this crap. You know what I mean? So, but we done it, and to cross the finish line was just brilliant. Like, I was an emotional wreck. I was leading up to it. So I was doing it in honor of my mother as well, because she was a wheelchair user. So it was a nice thing to do. And it was great.
That's brilliant.
Hopefully we can beat it this time.
Yeah, so we better go on and talk about this, because how in the name of God did this all happen?
And another twist of fate again. I was on Twitter, I was asking, does anyone ever train people in wheelchairs that do MMA? And I was like, I'm talking about proper MMA now, like dragging each other out of wheelchairs, proper scrapping. And like, Paddy Barnes is there, I'll do a few with you. And I messaged him, and I was like, would you be seriously on for it? And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, let's do it. And we set it up as a charity thing. So then all the hard work in the background began, trying to like sort it out and get a venue and get sound and light and rings and all this. And then Conor McGregor retweeted it about a week and a half ago, and he goes, brilliant idea, Stevo and Paddy, let put me down for 10 grand. So then that kind of blew it out of the water. And since then he's been retweeting. When I said that Al Foran, who does impersonations of him, was going to be on the card, he said, let's make it a co-main event and put me down against Al. And he's been retweeting stuff, like, because I said, all right, this is the final lineup. As far as I'm concerned, it's Conor versus Al, me versus Paddy, and so on. And he retweeted that. So to me, that means he seems to be interested in doing it, which would be incredible. So
I saw that, and I was like, my God, if that happens, poor Al, he's going to get
killed. Because I was like, oh, Steve, what are you fucking doing to me, buddy? You know what I mean? So like, but like, I said it from the beginning when he got interested. I said, just one photo of him and me sitting in the wheelchair side by side would do so much for people that are disabled and wheelchair users, and just disability sport in general. Because I don't think he's ever done something like that. So that alone, that picture alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just raising the awareness alone is just incredible.
Just shows solidarity, like, and
exactly.
To give them a few clouts as well.
Like. You might as well.
Yeah. What's he going to do? Battle a fella in a wheelchair? Be surprised.
Exactly.
It's all good, and as you said, raising awareness of it.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
the ultimate goal.
exactly. And do you have a date and all set up?
We had the 28th of August. We had to change that because a few things popped up. So now it's September the 11th, appropriately enough. So yeah.
Yeah. And where can people? You have a GoFundMe page, haven't you? So we better go and let everyone know where they can go.
If you just Google like Stevo v Paddy GoFundMe, or go to my Facebook or my Twitter or anything like that, you'll find it. I'm daily plaguing people with it, trying to get them to reshare and retweet. So you'll find it there. So we're not about $2,000 off 20 grand, but I want to beat that 20 grand duck, because that's when it stagnates and it just, to get that beaten, and then it'll grow from there again. So we're trying to get over that first barrier.
Yeah. Well, I'll share it on mine as well. I'm sure everyone will be sharing it for you anyway. So, Steve, come here. Before we let you go, because I know you're absolutely up to your tonsils with stuff at the moment, how are you at the moment with your own mental health, and how are you through the pandemic?
I'm good now. I wasn't great, say 8-9 months ago. I was in a very bad place, but I kind of dragged myself out of that, and Roxy's helped with that enormously. And just, having someone like that kind of understood me and gave me my own time, but also helped me at the same time. You know what I mean? And that kind of dragged me up out of it. That kind of, I suppose, time. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just have to go through those horrible low points, and sometimes you wonder whether you'll come out of them at all, or whether you want to come out of them. Because at that point, you don't necessarily want to come out of them. Because you're in a bad place and you don't see any light, you don't see any future. You know what I mean? It's only looking back when you can say that. But yeah, I'm in a lot better place now, and I suppose this as well, and has me focused a lot. I need to be doing something. If I'm not doing something, I head spirals.
Yeah, I'm exactly, which is where I got this name for this. Because I'm exactly the same. I can't sleep while we have a guest here beside us. She's hiding me, or she's hiding behind me. Can you hear? No, she's all right. I'll Photoshop her out. We'll be all right. But I'm exactly the same. Like, I can't sleep, or your head just spirals and your mind spirals. And and you're doing better now anyway. And obviously, when this, it's good that you're able to focus your mind on this. And obviously, when this is all over, then, and I suppose when things start to open up again, you probably start to feel a bit better, would you? Or
yeah, definitely, because then I'll be focused on the tour as well. We're starting the tour in January 2022, so my focus will be on that then, and selling tickets for that, and doing sketches for that and stuff. So so this will tide me over. So
this will tie you over, yeah.
And do some good as well. So like it's helping me as well as helping them. So that's it's win-win really. Like.
Yeah, and you'll probably your next charity gig will probably be climbing Everest, will it?
Jeez, I don't know. I was thinking of, like, if we pull this off, if I manage to pull this off and get the big man down, for next year, making an annual event and have me and him in the wheelchairs. So that's the next one.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, it's spontaneous. You never know. Yeah, I'll come down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Well, listen. As I said, we won't keep you too long, so we'll wrap this up soon with one last question, as I always give the guest towards the end of the show. Is I kind of let the guest have the final word of maybe some sort of inspirational message that you like to give out, to your fans. Is there anything that
I find it hard sometimes to be like, give a kind of an inspirational thing. I suppose, like I said on the telly, like, no one's a lost cause. There's hope for us all, really, and there's something we can find to do that will inevitably propel us up into happiness if you're not attaining it as of yet. So there's something out there that you can find that you love, something that you used to do when you were a kid, even, that you used to enjoy, drawing, doing poetry, writing raps, something. Do it and stick at it and put it out there, and you won't get detractors, but F them,
Yeah. Well, I have to say, you are an inspiration of, obviously you had an accident, and, like you said, you've been suffering from anxiety, from an early age. So to be able to do all of what you're doing now with all of that stuff going on, I think it's just absolutely brilliant. So fair play to you.
Thank you. I wouldn't say that. I'd say I'm more stupid and stubborn than inspirational. That's a byproduct of it, but I'll take it, and thank you.
Well, it's a fine line, I suppose, so we'll take it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. One last shout out for the GoFundMe page.
Stevo v Paddy GoFundMe. If you just Google it or go to my Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, Sir Stevo Timothy, you'll find all the details there.
Brilliant. So thanks very much for having a chat with me today. Look, I know you're up to your eyes. So and maybe when all this is over and things have settled down, we'll do another podcast and we'll spend a bit more time having a chat about things if you're up for that.
Absolutely. And thanks so much for having me, man.
No problem. You're very welcome. Guys, we'll leave that there. And of course, we will be back soon with another episode of the Endless Spiral podcast. And I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye for now.